owning my own shop, it's just it has been stressful, but it's something that I know I wouldn't want to go back on. Like I'm
Oh
not going to
yeah.
go back. Like I'm very very like happy where and fortunate. Like I said, I keep repeating that I have awesome clients that followed me. Like because without them, our area up there is not built up yet where we can have a flow of walk-in business. So it really does help that they trust me and they keep coming back. So
Yeah, it's
yeah.
super cool. Hello and welcome to Start the Beat with Sykes. My name is Sykes and this is my podcast right here. Yes, you're listening to it. You're looking at it. Want to thank everyone for being here. If you're new to the show, welcome. You know what? I've been trying to do this fucking thing. I did this the last time where I'm trying to like spice up the intro and change it up a bit.
Yeah.
And I'm fucking it up because I've been doing it a certain way for so long. And, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Right.
God damn it. Let's try this again. Hello and welcome to Start the Beat with Sykes. My name is Sykes and this is my podcast. Just want to take a quick moment to thank everyone who checked out the last episode. If you're one of the people who listened to that conversation, I hope you enjoyed it. And thanks so much for coming back. But for those of you out there who are new to the show, welcome. Please feel free to make yourselves at home. And as always, there is beer and soda in the fridge. Cheers, my friend.
Cheers.
Woo! I'm sitting here today. Let me take a sip real quick.
I thought that one was fantastic. You did really well.
Thanks. That was a lot better. I'm going to leave them both in, though, by the way. I'm sitting here today with my acquaintance, new friend, old acquaintance, we'll say.
Right.
We've known each other loosely through the air quote scene for probably longer than either of us would care to admit. But this gentleman's name is Ricky Dennis. You have Dark Root Barbershop. You have some music stuff that you do. Yes. We're going to cover all of that stuff, but most importantly, make some noise for the internet, my friend.
That's the best part.
We're really happy that you're here. So yes, how about you introduce yourself to the people out there and let them know what it is that you do and, why you're here. What's up?
Yeah, man. So I'm Ricky, obviously, owner of Dark Root Barbershop. I did that, the brand back in 2016, and started from there. I actually started making beard oils because I was tired of actually buying other people's beard oils. And I was working in a little shop in Lawrenceville at the time, and the name just stuck. Dark Root was cool, and I was like, you know what? Eventually, I am going to open my own shop. So kept the name, and then 2 years later, some unfortunate events at the shop. They had a water main break, so I had to like find my way and find a place to work at while they are under construction. So I ended up looking around, and my good buddy over in Brentwood, he has a barbershop. His barbershop's Red's Barbershop, and yeah, man, he was really, really kind and nice to let me over there. And he was like, listen, I know you're going through tough times, and I want you to come over, take your time. If you want to stay, cool. If you want to look, if you're going to open your own business, I want you to be comfortable and in that search. So as I was over there, I noticed about 65% of my clientele followed me from all the way from I have parts from like Lawrenceville, North Hills, South Hills.
Yeah.
Pretty much all over. So that was big to me. So 65%, I was like, I think eventually I can open my own shop. And that's what I did.
I think that's huge. I think that's an interesting thing. Let's put this just a little bit closer to you real quick.
All
just
right. Am I good there?
Yeah, that's perfect. That's a lot better. But with something like, so, I mean, I haven't had hair in a long time. It went gone, disappeared. But I would imagine for people who do have hair, it's something similar to like tattoos or something. You just like find some people that you trust and you work with. I mean, it's even like being in a band, you know what I mean? Like you just find people that are trustworthy.
Right.
And then like you just want to work with them.
Right.
You want to keep going back to them.
Yeah, it's comfort level, like you said. I mean, it's and it's cool too, because like bands, if you're in a band, a tattoo artist, you get that big support not only from your friends, but like, I mean, your friend tells their friend, and then you just, it's a collective thing. And I think also what's cool with my shop, I've been in, a little bit of the music scene, and I know a lot of people that's been in it, and I know tattoo artists, and it's cool to, it's you vibe off of them, and they really, really, they support you, you support them. So I think it's great. And then, I mean, the area I'm in is also awesome because, it's kind of got that metal theme going on
Yeah,
up there.
let's talk about where the shop's at for
Yeah.
anybody that doesn't know.
Um, it's it's right on Warrenton Ave in Allentown.
Yeah.
Right actually next to the fancy restaurant Alla Familia.
Mhm.
I don't know if you're familiar with that.
I'm Alla familiar with it.
Actually only been there once. It's kind of my price range, but it was really good. I got a free dinner, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, I'm right across the road from them. My neighbor is the Weeping Glass. I don't know if you're familiar
Yeah.
with them. And then right down the street, next to the police department, is Black Forge.
Mhm.
So I think, and then also
you've Onion Maiden too and Skull
Can't-
Records.
yeah, I can't forget about them. And I just think it's awesome. So when I found that area, I was looking at it and I was like, man, I know I can really fit in because of my vibe and everything. And my landlord was actually like, so he was kind of on the fence. And then I told him my story, and I told him like, we're not just really we are a walk-in business, but more so appointments. Like I rather do that. So he appreciated that. And I told him my little backstory. And then I was like, he was like, well, all right, first and foremost, what's the name? And I was like, Dark Root Barbershop. And he was like, this is like a theme going on up here. He's like, it's just like, he's like, it's just like, it feels very, very like it's got a metal theme,
Yeah.
it's like punk rock, whatever you want to call it. And he was like, they were like, yeah, you're good. We want you in here. So opened up in July of last year.
That's awesome.
So,
Congratulations on
you.
that.
Thanks.
Independent business. It's a lot of
Thanks.
work. It's an intimidating thing.
Yeah.
But you're doing it. And I imagine having like the little bit of a background that you did have and you still do have in like the local music scene was probably really beneficial in terms of like building a community and getting people like you're like essentially like booking gigs is like getting clients.
Exactly.
It's very similar.
Yeah. It's exactly how it is. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like actually when I opened up, just all my friends that I knew play music started coming to me.
Yeah.
So it kind of got me actually, I was like, well, I kind of want to get back into that game again. I was like, I've been out of it for some time now. So Jake, my buddy, we ended up talking and stuff like that. And he gets his haircut by me, which would be funny if he didn't. But yeah, it kind of got me in that little music scene too because of the area and all that stuff. So yeah.
With the world of just barbershops and getting into that in general, how did that happen? What was your particular, how did you stumble into this line of work?
How I got my foot in the door.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, so I'm from Uniontown, Pennsylvania, and I moved here probably when I was like 23, and I met one of my exes and she cut hair. So it was kind of like, at first it wasn't even a thought. And then, my beard when I was like 19, it was shitty, but it started getting better. So, as I was like growing it out, I would always like, play with it, fix it and stuff like that. And I was really like into it. And she was like, did you ever think about like going to barber school? And I was like, I actually never thought of that. So, that was kind of like my foot in the door. And it's like really simple. Like everyone always gets barbering and hairstyle, like cosmetology mixed up, and it's completely different. Barbering is only 9 months of a program. So once you do that, you take your test and then you go from there and you pass your state boards and all that. And yeah, and that's it. But after I finished, I've always been really, really driven. So I've like watched a lot of like fellow classmates. They would they would get discouraged because when you get out, there's like, you got to hustle. You really got to hustle.
Yeah, and
And
it's like being in a band.
exactly. You got to get your name out there. You got to push yourself a lot more. So it was like, after all that, after I figured myself out, I was actually working two shops. I would double up on Thursdays and Fridays. One shop, work the morning,
Yeah.
midday, drive all the way from Pleasant Hills to Lawrenceville. So,
Okay.
yeah, which was crazy. I mean, I look back on it and I'm like, and because I love my parents, would drive home to Uniontown at least once a week. So I don't even know how I did it, but
Yeah, Uniontown's a bit of a hike. We just did Rich's Freight Farm on Friday, which, I mean, that's Smithfield. It's a little bit out there, but
Right.
still that fucking drive. 51, there, that place is a black hole. 51.
Oh my God.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It says it's only like an hour, but I swear 4 hours go by. I don't know what is going on with 51.
It's insane. Like, yeah.
Anyone that's like into paranormal shit should start investigating fucking 51. There's something going on.
Yeah. I think 43 is even just as worse because you're just driving and there's like, it's just blank pretty much. Like, you're just like, this is the same. It's the same. I think it's like the drive. What's the Philadelphia? What's that interstate?
Oh, I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
I've been to Philly, but I only remember the local,
Right.
the local ones.
But you know that drive
Yeah.
though, it's like one of the worst drives. The only good thing about driving out there is Hershey and you get to go to Trogs. So that's the only good thing.
Trogs is fire. Hershey Park is the shit. And there's some really good breweries around that area too. Shout outs to, oh my God, I'm not going to remember it. I keep on wanting to say Other Half, but that's the one that's in Brooklyn. It has a similar name. I can't remember what it is right now, but that's not going to help anybody. They're sick breweries. Message me about it later if you're going to be in the area. I love Hershey. The place is awesome.
Like Trogs, shout out to Trogs too.
Yeah.
Trogs is awesome. I mean, Mad Elf,
Yeah, 'tis the season. It just came out.
oh God. I still haven't had a legit like pumpkin beer. So I probably need to get on that before this week's over. So.
Yeah. What is your go-to on the pumpkin beers?
Oh man, like I'm pretty simple. I know Oktoberfest by Sam Adams. I know that's really not a pumpkin.
That's an awesome autumn beer though.
Yeah,
it's fucking great.
It's a good like if you're it's a good drinking beer. Like
Yeah,
you can have
totally.
right. You can have multiple and not get sick. I think I would go with just pumpkin, man.
Yeah, Southern Tier.
Just the OG of them. You
Yeah.
know, like I know they change. Don't they change every year? Like,
You know, I haven't had a pumpkin in a while. I do remember it was pretty varied. I haven't had one in a long time though. For no reason. I said that when it comes to a lot of beer, I used to like be into that, like seeking out beer, going out of my way to get beers.
right.
You know, like
right.
I'm pretty obsessive when I find out about things. Like, you know, whenever I first found out about heavy metal,
Yeah.
everything metal.
Right.
And then I like learn about making beats and then like that's all I want to do. And then I start collecting records and then, you know, like just all these things. And then podcasting. Now it's like I have this fucking studio because I just got obsessed with it. And then beer, that was another thing that happened when I first found out about it.
Yeah.
That obsessive like mentality
you just-
took over.
Right.
So with all of that being said, nowadays it's pretty much like if something comes across my plate, I will get it. But I never go out of my way to get beer anymore.
You're not like
And this is coming from somebody that like, yeah, we used to like always be like, oh, there's a new brewery opening up. We got to be there on opening day and try everything. Now I'm just like, I don't fucking care. It just gets exhausting.
it does.
And also it's like, you're like dedicating all this time to something that you're literally just going to piss out.
Yeah.
And it's like,
And
so if it's there, I will enjoy it. But seeking it out is, it's a bit of a time suck.
it's
But to people that still do it, all the power to you.
right.
Whatever makes you happy. It just doesn't make me that happy.
Yeah.
But Dogfish Head Pumpkin is my favorite pumpkin beer.
You know what? I never had that.
I like it.
I'm gonna have to do.
I think they do a good job on that.
that will be my pumpkin beer.
It's an easy one to find too. I think that might be another reason why I like it so much.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard of it. I just actually never had it. Yeah, man. Just it's crazy how they jump the gun so fast. It's like I just said, I didn't even have a pumpkin beer. And
Oh
then
yeah, the Mad Elf's
the
already
Mad
out.
Elf's out. Don't get me wrong. I love me some Mad Elf, like I said, but I think it's a little too soon. So, um, but saying that, I'll be like next week. I'll be like, yeah, I'm gonna go to the store and get myself some Mad Elf. But
Uh-huh.
they're actually they have a one called. Have you ever had Naked Elf?
Yes.
Yeah,
The Naked Elf was great.
Naked Elf is really good too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had it some bar over in uh Greenfield. No, is that Greenfield?
Was it Huff's?
Huffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I was over and I had Naked Elf, and I was like, okay. And I like it because I can have more. I have 3 or 4 maybe of Mad Elf, and I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Have you ever had the Flying Mouflon? It's
No.
their they do like I don't know how often they do it, but it's like a barley wine that they do, but it has like like cocoa nibs and all this good stuff in it. It's like super easy to drink. And I remember when me and my girlfriend, the first time I took her to Trogs, I had been there before. She had never been there.
Okay.
They had it there then. And I think that's maybe the most intoxicated we've ever been around each other. It was it's scary because we were still like we did drive back to the hotel and everything. But like we were
Okay.
like not in any position. But I remember like we got very, very intoxicated and then went to Red Robin.
I mean,
There's a Red Robin right there. Red Robin. Yum. I don't have that effect on the board. But
I
yeah,
thought
so
you were gonna press the button.
that
and
would
you
be
had it. And
fucking
I was like,
fire.
did you set this up the whole time?
No, dude. Man, I wish. But yeah. And the second time that we were at Trogs,
Yeah.
when we went back, they actually had Naked Elf there. So we had it there.
Nice. That
was awesome.
Yeah, it's so good. I like the beer, so I agree with you on the beer game. Like there's sometimes a little too much out there. I stick to my guns. Like I have my 3 beers that I drink. I love any beer. I mean, who doesn't, right? But I'm still actually I have a rep that sends me for the shop because I give beer to my clients when they sit down. Lion's Head, good old Lion's Head.
Nice.
I still like Lion's Head. I'm still a Miller High Life kind of dude. So I'm pretty easygoing. But I guess if I had an expensive beer, I've always been a Guinness drinker. So I know it's like hit or miss for some people, but that's my expensive beer, I guess. So, but yeah, Lion's Head, man. I love Lion's Head. Like I said, we have a rep for my shop. They give me cool little things.
Yeah, I can drink Lion's Head. I'll tell you this: the only cheap beer that I can't do is Yingling. There's something about the way that it tastes that just does not agree with me.
Oh man,
Like I could do Miller Lite, I could do Lion's Head. Like I can drink a Miller Lite and be fine. I could drink a
Right.
Lion's Head and be like, word, okay,
right.
But like the Yingling cannot fucking do it.
Dude, I agree because I don't know 2 things it does to me. It gives me the worst headache. And the second is when I burp, I don't know what it smells like something crawled out of me and died.
Sure.
Like my one buddy back home would call it salami burps. And I'm
Okay.
like, dude, I didn't have salami. And he's like, dude, it smells like salami.
You know what fucks me up? That that fake cheese, not cheese stuff that you get with nachos, or sometimes they put it on cheese fries.
Yeah.
That
yeah.
it's like the plastic cheese.
yeah.
That stuff just turns me into an atomic bomb. And like I just like my fucking ass just smells like it smells like all the shit that's ever shat in the world. It's insane.
Just death. Just pure death.
I just eat like 2 fucking nachos and it's game fucking over. So like I definitely have to stay away from that stuff.
Now
I don't know what the fuck it is, but that stuff is like me. I don't know.
It just kills
Science. I don't know. I wish there was like some science person that could break down what it is about that stuff that fucks with me.
You need that guy on your podcast.
Yeah.
You need that guy to just sit there and talk about what's wrong with that cheese, you know?
Yeah.
Now, do you know going into it, are you like, is it a love-hate thing? Like you're like, I love you, but I know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
afterward?
I stay away from it for the most part. There's certain exceptions. Sometimes, like say I'm at Kennywood,
Yeah.
Potato Patch, I'll do the fries.
Yeah.
Which shout outs to Kennywood. Me and my girlfriend are actually going tonight.
Fright night?
We're going to Fright Night tonight. We haven't been
Nice.
able to go all month. The weather's fucking beautiful today.
Nice.
No rain. It's a Sunday, so it won't be too busy. we're fucking doing it tonight. So
good for you.
yeah, I'm stoked.
Enjoy yourself.
I'm a big theme park guy.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why like we go out to Hershey a lot for Hershey Park.
Right.
We just did a week in Disney. I love Kennywood.
Yeah.
Like big theme park guy. Cedar Point, Kings Island. Like we're like, I have this old man goal. I wanna try to ride as many roller coasters as possible.
Yeah.
So like, like my goal is like I want to ride every operating roller coaster in the United States. It's like it's not unachievable because there's definitely like 19-year-old kids on YouTube that have rid like 800 roller coasters that have like their fucking vlogs.
Right.
So if that fucking turd can do it, I can do it.
You can do it.
But the next big trip that we want to do is there's a theme park in the UK called Alton Towers.
Okay.
And that's the next year trip, the
Nice.
big one. But getting back on topic and things,
Yeah.
owning a business. I mean, so there's this thing. We'll say like relating this to a roller coaster, owning a business. It can be a bit like a roller coaster, I imagine. And very hectic. Whenever you were getting into this, you know what I mean? Did you imagine that you would ever own a business?
No.
Okay.
No.
And now that you do you think that it's harder or easier to manage? Or is it about what you expected?
It's about 50-50 for me. Yeah.
Is there like some things that maybe you thought would be easy that aren't, and then vice versa?
Yeah. I would say the daily, it's not even my clients. I would say the daily random people and random kind of, I'll say this, dumb questions you get, like the people come in off the streets.
Being a tattoo artist.
Yeah. Just, it's like, they'll come in and be like, do you guys cut hair? And I'm just like, what? And then
Sure.
I need to have like, I just need to have a button just to press something, when they come in, so I don't even need to speak. Cause I hear this every day. And then, just the other day I was sitting there and I was waiting on my client, and two people roll up and they're walking past, and it literally says barbershop. Thank you. It says barbershop on the front, barbershop on the top. There's a spinny pole that usually indicates there's a barbershop here. And the older gentleman was looking in, and I can hear her say, I don't even know what this place is. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So, so that I guess to answer your question though, I would say just the daily people coming in and out, and it's just like it wears you down a lot. Overhead for a barbershop, I tell people it's very, very small. Like it's not owning your like a coffee shop or a restaurant or a bar.
Sure, you don't have like supplies that you always have to buy and like things that expire and things like that where you're trying to like meet a certain demand. It's like you have your supplies.
Yeah.
And for the most part, even like a tattoo shop, like you have to get new ink and new sterilizing and stuff. And I mean, like, obviously you got to get some sterilizing stuff for the barbershop, but for the most part, it's like scissors, razor, some maintaining some equipment and things like that.
Yeah.
Just cleaning up, like sweeping and stuff like that. Yeah.
Right. And
it's a lot more manageable, I imagine.
Right. And it's like I said, it's your barber side that we keep our combs in, disinfect it. We have disinfectant spray, all that stuff. But it's really, really simple. Like I said, I would say the biggest part is just random people, but that's a part of it,
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's that part of you that wants the random people to come in because that could become a new regular.
Right. Yeah.
And usually a lot of times if you get one new regular, that means it's really going to be maybe 2 or 3 because they're going to tell somebody.
Right.
And they might get another person in, but there's always just that like, what is this?
Yeah, you're just
element that you just got to deal with.
You're like, am I getting punked right now? Like, who's sending these people in? It's a hassle, but like you said, it does open the door for new clientele. And
another thing too, I think that there's something to learn from those people because like sometimes I'll think about how much I put myself out there as we'll just say entertainer, whether it is I put myself out there. I have the podcast,
right?
I have my bands that I play in. I have my other work that I do, freelancing and stuff like that, right? Mm-hmm. All these things that I do. And there's people that I'm friends with on social media or I'm connected with. and they don't even know that I do everything that I do just because, they're just not tuned into it.
Right.
So it makes me think sometimes, like, when I meet somebody that doesn't know that I like do rap stuff, it's like, oh, like, is that person just dumb? Or am I just not doing a good enough job? In the
Right.
same way where it's like somebody walks past your place and it's like, oh, what is this?
Right.
Are they dumb, or can you do better
Exactly.
to make your barbershop look more like a barbershop?
Right,
So you
right.
can like learn from those sort of things,
Right.
because like nowadays, everybody's like attention span and willing to figure things out, it's so fucking small. It
Oh
feels
my
like it's
God.
so narrow.
Yeah.
So like you only have like that like millisecond to get somebody's attention and let them know 1000% what you do.
Right.
And I don't know like what you're supposed to do to
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it makes it hard because you have like your branding and your theme that you want to have, and you want to have like a comfortable environment. You don't want it to
Yep.
be like sports clips, motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like you don't.
Yeah.
But
Right.
you also want to be able to make sure that people that are like just passing through know what the fuck it is.
Right. Yeah. And the whole sports clips thing is funny. It's funny. They're hot towel. We do hot towels there, but we don't. Maybe I need to.
I'll tell you this. Nothing seems more uncomfortable than the experience of going to sports clips.
Oh man.
It just seems so outrageous to me.
Right. Right. I just think like it's generic, but they're a big chain.
Oh, they're
They're
huge.
huge.
They're huge.
That's why, I tried to do more. Like maybe I should advertise the hot towel. Maybe I should get a sandwich board. That's making people know, like, come see your barber and get a hot towel. Maybe I need to get a sandwich board. But yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I know, owning my own shop, it's just, it has been stressful, but it's something that I know I wouldn't want to go back on. Like, I'm not going to go back. Like, I'm very, very like happy where and fortunate, like I said, I keep repeating that I have awesome clients that followed me, like, cause without them, our area up there is not built up yet where we can have a flow of, walk-in business. So it really does help that they trust me and they keep coming back. So
yeah, it's super cool with owning the business. And let's get a bit into just like, we were talking briefly just about branding, marketing, advertising. This is something that I like to talk about a lot with bands, but obviously you're a business owner, so this is no different. How is the internet making your life hard owning a business? Do you find that it's easy having all of these social media platforms and things to promote your stuff? Or do you find that it's like difficult because of algorithms, or like, hey, give us money if you want people to see this, and like that sort of stuff? Like, what are you dealing with as a business owner?
Actually, the biggest thing for us, this is so random. So I keep getting people come in, newer clients, and I'm like, I always ask, how did you find us out? Was it Instagram? Was it Google or wherever? They're like, no, Reddit. And I'm like,
whoa, okay.
And it blew my mind because I'm like, I didn't know there was like a world out there that people were using Reddit.
Yeah, that's probably my biggest mistake in my life, is that I've just never used Reddit and I don't know anything about it, but apparently a lot of people use it.
I mean, Reddit's killing it. I mean, I still think that format is screwed up because when you get on there, I'm like, it hasn't changed. You think they would have changed it, but it's terrible. You get on there, you don't even know what you're doing. But yeah, Reddit people, they come in and I'm like, how did you find me? And they're like, you know what? I looked up what's the best beard trim or haircut in the city, and Dark Root has been brought up a lot of times. I actually have to go on there. I keep telling myself I'm going to go on there and read the comments, but I'm not tuned into that stuff because I block all that stuff out because it'll drive you nuts. You know, like,
dude, I 100% agree. And it's like, a lot of people, I've talked about this briefly before, but like, I try to use my phone and social media the least amount that I possibly can.
Right.
And that's coming from somebody that like literally, like, it's like, okay, well, I have the podcast I have my day job at Get Hip Records. I have Sykes and New Violence, Gray Walker, my DJ nights that I do. 5 things times 3 or 4 social media platforms.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I manage close to like 24 social media platforms.
Okay.
So, and I have to post to all of them. And it's exhausting as fuck.
Right.
So I just try to stay off of it. But like sometimes like I'll be around and I feel like I'm always dropping the ball. I have that like people call it like that FOMO, that fear of missing out. Because like I don't fuck with like stories. I'm not always updating stuff and be like, check me out this, you know.
Right.
I just get so fucking tired. But I also know that like I need to be on there. You need to be grinding and hustling and putting yourself out there, because if you're not, like,
right,
somebody else that's posting more than you is gonna be more recognizable. And that's why there are people that are connected with me and have been for years that don't even know that like I play in a metal band and stuff like that. It's crazy.
You have to, that's a good point. You have to push yourself, and it's exhausting. Like
maybe I'm doing too much.
right. You're like, it's exhausting. I know that for sure. Even, I try to keep up with our Instagram and posting updated pictures, because Instagram does help us out a lot, and it's free. I mean, it's great. Picture tells,
especially with what you're doing.
It's great. So, like someone coming in and all they have to do is, all right, I'm going to Google this barbershop. And if you go on our website, it's darkrootpgh.com. You go on there, our feed from our Instagrams on there, you're like, okay, I want either Ricky and my other guy that works there. His name's Zach. You see, when we post a picture, it's like haircut by Ricky, haircut by Zach. So going into it, what you're getting into. It's not going into I know people tell me horror stories where they're out traveling or something and they're like, I don't know what to do. And I tell everybody, the biggest thing you need to do is hashtag whatever, like find a hashtag or whatever city you're in. Like I'm always hashtagging PGH Barber, Pittsburgh Barber. Yeah. And it just helps out a lot, So I always tell people, keep in mind, just do that. But yeah, man, internet, social media, it's a drag. It really is. But I mean, I think it is beneficial for sure. And I'm like you though, when I'm on there, I'm like, why am I still on? Why am I on Instagram? I've already seen what I have to see,
It's like the one thing I've been thinking about a lot. And maybe you might be able to relate with me just as like a business owner. I hate the fact that with something like with most social media, the fact that you are a barbershop, you're treated the exact same way as a business owner as like Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
And like you have to like play by the same rules as like all of these other businesses. And I think that it is completely absurd that somebody like Dark Root Barbershop, I mean, it's like, I don't know how many likes you have on Facebook, maybe a couple thousand. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that it's not like 1.2 million or whatever, like some big business, but you're literally like subjected to the same like throttling and algorithm feeding stuff that like a big business is. And I wish that like these social media companies would do something where like, say you're a local business, but like your page has under 10,000 followers.
Right.
You're not like subjected to like these crazy things.
Yeah.
Because ultimately these like social media platforms, I think that like if they took off that like whatever it is, the word's escaping me, but like the way that like the stuff that you post, how it gets fed to the people that like your page.
Right.
Like people could like your page, but they're not even going to see what you're posting because you're not paying for the post.
Yeah.
I think that that's completely ridiculous if like your page only has like a couple thousand or a couple hundred followers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if, say, Facebook, if they took that off and they actually let you like build up this organic thing to a point that you might actually be able to make enough money to give them hundreds of dollars instead of like $5 or $10 here and there.
Right.
You know, it's like bullshit. It's like they're like giving small business hell for pennies, but I guess it's working for them because probably the majority of people that have pages on Facebook are, very tiny people. The Coca-Colas of the world are very rare. So
Right,
they're
right,
probably making a fucking killing off those $5 and $10. But it's
right.
like, it's a fucking
It
nightmare. Even
sucks,
with
man.
it's like, and I just like, I don't know. I'm not a conspiracy theory person, but like, I can tell you this. It's like one of those things where like, for the longest time, I was throwing $5 a week on, or $5 an episode for promoting all these episodes. And
Yeah.
it would get like, I would get a certain amount of I would get a certain amount of engagements from that.
Okay.
Over the past month,
Mhm.
that has gone pretty much to like 1/4 of what I was getting before. The content's not any different. The amount that I'm uploading things isn't any different.
Yeah.
But like the engagement that I'm getting
Right.
is it's 1/4 of what it was.
Wow.
And it's like,
Wow.
okay, like what? Do you want more money?
Right. Right.
It's like, it's like, is it that, or is like the content I'm putting out has it just not been interesting?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm trying to ask myself that, but I'm also like, okay, is this a thing where it's like, okay, we'll let you get away with giving us $5, but now we want 10, now we want 15, now we want 20.
It just keeps going up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree because there's options on there to post your pictures and for $10 and push it out there. And I'm
Uh-huh.
like, come on, like, we're out here hustling, trying to make a living and make my shop more known. I mean, we don't have a lot of followers. I mean, we've been open only for over a year. Yeah, year and a half now. And yeah, it's like it's difficult. I mean, I don't play. That's what I mean. I try not to play those number games because like I think we only have like 500 something followers. But it's funny because my client and I were talking about this the other day, and he's like, you gotta, he's a photographer, and he's like, I find myself in this same situation. He's like, I gotta post at this time. I gotta post at this time, And I'm like, that just seems so much work. Like it's
I
like,
don't even think that that's worth it anymore, because like the way that the social media platforms distribute content to people that are viewing it, it's
Mhm.
not in real time anymore. Have you ever noticed that like sometimes you'll see something that a friend of yours posted like 2 days ago,
right.
and you'll see that same thing over and over again, but you're not seeing stuff that somebody else posted like 2 minutes ago?
Right.
It's because it's like the way that I understand the algorithms work is like they distribute content to you from people that you interact with the most.
Yeah.
And I think that there's even parts of it where it's like, even if you like stop and like you look at somebody's page,
Yeah.
like they'll start feeding you that content. It's kind of similar to how like YouTube is, where like if you watch like one video about how to play Smells Like Teen Spirit on the cello or something, like all of a
Yeah.
sudden your whole fucking feed's cello videos. It's like, what the fuck? I was just
Right.
I was just trying to watch this silly thing, and now it's like, or like, somebody sends you this fucking thing where it's like, oh, check out this like this really horrible political thing that happened. So you check it out, and the next thing you know, it's like your whole fucking feed is all like the atrocities of mankind, and you're like, God
Right.
damn it.
That's and that's speaking of YouTube, because I have a TV in there, and I don't play sports. I don't play, it's all music. Like occasionally we'll put on like something from Netflix or something old, like an old TV show. But YouTube really needs to get their shit together on that, because I was playing, I played a pop punk playlist, and out of nowhere, it's like Korn came up, and I'm like, I mean, I don't know, like I was like, okay, like like
The freak is off the leash, apparently.
right. I actually think it was that song. Or yeah. So I was just like so random, but yeah. Yeah, man. Social media is it's crazy, but I'm in on that. It's tough, the posting and all that stuff. I just don't do. I'll post my picture. If it gets 10 likes, it gets 10 likes. Like
Yeah.
my business is basically word of mouth. That's how I get. I have roommates that like one came in and then he goes home and he's like, oh dude, you got an awesome haircut. Where do you go? And go to Dark Root. And then it's like a chain, and then they just keep coming. So and I pride myself on that too, because my shop's very welcoming. It's open doors to anybody, any walk of life. That's how I've been my whole life. And it's great. I have awesome clients. I'm fortunate for that. I've had in the past, I've had some some rough ones. And then I actually got the question the other day. It was like, have you ever like let a client go? And I was like, I had to do it once, and it was the worst experience I ever had to
How
do.
does that work?
Oh man. And I'm such a nice guy. Like I'm not confrontational. So like
Yeah.
I try to go my out of the way, not to like, I don't like pretty much telling people bad news or, get raising hell, I guess. Well, it's just I had to like this guy, he was just always late. And my standard for the shop is like, I'm not going to do a late fee because I believe like if you're always on time, right? I'm not going to make you one time because you're late once pay a late fee. I just
Okay.
don't think it's fair to ruin it for everybody else. So this guy, blah, 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 he was late, missed appointments. And once I moved over to my shop, his first appointment over there did not show up. And I'm like, it just becomes a point where, yeah, I'm trying to run a business. This is my livelihood,
Yeah, totally.
So I had to send that dreaded text message, and I was like, hey, man, I was like, listen, I'm going to have to let you go. And I was very nice about it. And he wasn't so kind with his words. And
Sure.
I just said, that's your opinion. And I hope you take care. And that was it. So it was awkward. So I could never be like a legit boss of a corporation or anything. Cause I'd be like, I'd be like,
I think you could 'cause you did it.
I guess, but I feel like I'm like the Michael Scott, like of the, like I feel like because the very first season of the Office, I
Yeah.
don't know if you remember, Michael had to fire someone, and he goes between these two guys. It's Creed and another guy, and I just feel like that's me. Like it takes so much for me to be like, okay, enough is enough. So yeah, I had to let him go. So
No, I get that. I feel really similar in terms of the ways that I've had to like kind of dodge people coming on the podcast.
mhm.
Because there are a lot of people that hit me up to come on the show, and I just know some are just bad ideas or like just not people that I want to work with. But I'm
Right.
also super nice, and I don't want to be like no. And like when people like cancel, I don't want to be like no, you can't come back.
Right,
But
right.
there's definitely some people that have like blown me off multiple times without even like apologizing. And it's like,
See.
bro, fuck you.
Yeah, like,
But I'm not like that.
right,
You know
right,
what I
right.
mean?
I'm the same way. I mean, and
But it's like eventually you do got to figure out like what is right for you. And
right,
I mean, like, obviously that's like, you set time aside for a client and you expect them to be there, that's money, that's time that you're setting aside. And like, there may have been somebody else that wanted to come and you said, I can't, I'm booked up.
right, right. And it's
And those people don't think about that. They don't understand that.
no, man. They're very those are self-centered people. They don't think, oh, okay, like, it's not, you're not losing money. Like I could sit there, like, fortunate for me, I'm booked up week in and week out. I do an app which makes my life so much easier. Nobody's texting me. Nobody's like, can you put me in? It goes to that app. It's called The Cut. And it goes right to that app. I accept it or I decline it. I can like block out my schedule. Oh yeah. But like, I just, yeah, man. Like it's crazy because like they don't think of that, and they, like this person, they're like, man, he'll come in and he'll be like, man, I've been trying to get in. He's nice about it. He's like, you've been booked up. That's awesome. I can't even get in with you. And I'm like, yeah, but the people that cancel on you right away, don't think of that other person that could have been in that spot, like you said. So I mean, people are people, right?
Yeah.
They're just gonna,
The thing that I've figured out is that people that don't have that sort of forethought to understand what somebody else's time is worth,
yeah,
they're not going to get it. And
Right.
it's fine. I'm not going to be the person to explain it to you. I'm not your fucking father,
yeah.
but I also have no interest in you being any part of my life. Like,
Right.
it's just like,
Right.
I don't mean to sound cold. It's just like,
No,
if you're
no.
going to dick around like that, like, I don't I've been alive long enough that I feel like I can determine who I want to be around.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Well,
I
yeah.
feel like so. It's like I just don't want to be around people that are like not considerate of other people's time. Like even if I may be able to potentially make money from you, and
Right.
as like somebody that does a lot of freelance work, like
Mhm.
money's important.
Yep.
I have bills. You
Yep.
know, the older you get, the more expensive life gets. I don't know how that works. It just fucking happens.
Just does. You're never gonna be out of you're never be out of debt.
Yeah.
Like that's a true
So
fact.
it's just like one of those things where it's like, I mean, like even like with the podcast, you know what I mean? It's like now that I have this space and you know, there's overhead for the podcast now. It's like if I break it down, every episode costs a certain amount to produce.
Yeah.
And the fact that like I told you before, like I had a guest that canceled earlier that was supposed to be here.
Right.
So now it's like, if I wanted to be like a total psychopath, I could say that, you know, the cost for this episode to produce this episode has technically doubled because I lost an episode today.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because
right,
like I'm
right.
paying a certain amount to be here.
Right. Right.
And like people don't think about that.
They
And
don't-
it's like one of those things where it's like, you know, like fuck, you know, I typically book episodes out with people like a month in advance, if not more.
Yeah.
And when people like the day of are like, I don't think it's going to be able to happen. It's like, okay, that's fine. Either
Right.
like, you know, you have like things come up,
Yeah. Yeah.
but at the same time, it's like, okay, you know, it's just something that I need to be super aware of, and I am super aware of, and I accept it because at the same time, it's not like we're just here talking bullshit, and I'm going to upload this on the internet. It's not like a big priority for a lot of people, you know.
and that,
But
yeah. Yeah.
so it's just one of those things where it's like if you're gonna need to reschedule, which this is a reschedule,
Right.
but it's just one of those things where it's like, hey,
I'm an
if I
ass.
didn't have the patience to be able to deal with that, I wouldn't have a show for 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, tell me you can't do it, tell me why,
Yeah.
and we'll reschedule it.
Right. And at
But it's
least
just like there's been times where it's like people cancel because like, oh, like I can't get a ride.
come on.
And like I'm sitting here, like everything's set up. You
You're
know what I
like-
mean?
you're like
20
ready.
minutes before we're ready to
Yeah.
go, and I'm just like, what the fuck?
Right. Right.
Like,
Or
you're like I'm happy that you're like a creative person and doing work, but like if we do actually sit down, all I'm gonna talk to you about is like time management. Like, bro, if you fucking plan to do something a month in advance,
yeah. Yeah.
you know, like
Oh, that would be
work
funny.
it out.
They show up and you just have you have this list. You're just like, listen, we're actually not going to even talk about what you do. This is what we're going to talk about, you jackass. No, I completely agree. Like I like I feel like telling my clients that too. Like, listen, we're not even going to get a haircut today, bro. Like we're going to talk about your life and how you should manage your life.
Sure. Patience is
yeah.
a virtue, as they say, though.
Yeah.
And when you're in a position like you or like me, like with this, where it's like you're constantly scheduling appointments with people from all different walks of life that have different levels of responsibility and priorities,
yeah,
it's like you just gotta like be willing to compromise
you have
in
to
order to
right.
keep things going.
Right. Like I had a client that was actually stranded on a boat in the middle of like almost he was near and they were having that big storm in Japan just recently.
Okay.
And literally like I'll have people won't even give me a simple, hey, like you said, just apologize and say why you can't. I have people that legit won't even say this. And this guy is one of my like best clients and stuck in a hurricane on a boat. And he found a little bit of Wi-Fi, and I believe him because he travels a lot. So he's like finding time to text me back, and he gets into my shop Saturday and is so apologetic. And I was like, dude, I was just worried for your life. Like you do not have to explain to me anymore. Like, please, like you're fine. Like it just goes to show you. I mean, everyone's different. So I mean, it's just what it is, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So with stuff outside of owning a business, barbershop, beer. We mentioned before that you do some music stuff.
Right.
I don't know what you want to talk about, what you want to maybe leave undercover until it's ready to announce? I know you're working on some things. I don't know. What do you want to talk about music wise?
I actually talked to him last night, and he said when they Northern Gold, they're awesome people. Jake, he was like, yeah, I brought it up, and I was like, okay. I was like, all right, because I'm the type where, I don't, maybe to some people I don't want to make myself bigger than what I am. It's just
Yeah.
a little project. Yeah, I got a bunch of stuff coming up actually. Boa is the project name that Jake and I and actually the keyboard player Monty,
Yeah.
he will be playing drums.
Cool.
It's kind of be like it's gonna be awesome because I like to collab with a lot of people. Like I want other just because I'm gonna be screaming on it doesn't mean I don't want other screamers. I'm not self-centered. Like I think the more individuals, the more talent you have on something is cool. And for us, I mean, as far as I know, it's just a recording thing. I think it's going to be great because I want different people on this little EP. I won't go as far as what the EP, but it's a cool name. It's a cool idea what we have. But I'm just excited to do music again. I actually started last year with the band originally the Failsafe. We just called ourselves Failsafe. A best friend of mine was like, "Hey man, I wanted to do music," and I so to take it back, I played bass a long time ago for a band called Beyond Daylight, and I play a little bit of acoustic guitar, but I'm not like that was. I always felt like I was just like a
I'm
kinda,
no John Mayer.
yeah. I'm not going to shred over here, but I always just felt like it wasn't my thing. Like it wasn't my thing. And I didn't even know until like 2 or 3 years ago that I could actually scream. Um, I always say I'm just yelling things, but yeah, I found that talent out. And my buddy Ben was like, I'd like to do this project again. So we started on the EP, finished it in a year. And unfortunately, it would have been May. In May, his Mac just fried, but it all of our stuff was on that. But,
Oh no.
yeah, but it was good old iCloud. It was on iCloud, so he was in the process of moving, and I was going to be like, "Hey, dude, come on, let's push this stuff out because it's small peanuts. It's not a big deal." But for the first time, I was able to be on a full length album, and it was my vocals. It was just, and something I was proud of because I didn't know I had that talent, and it was
Yeah.
great. So, yeah.
So is that stuff like available? Is that out now?
It's actually going to be out the end of November or beginning of December.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It's called Dead Sea, Failsafe. It'll be on all the cool platforms. So I'm looking forward to that. Also, I don't know what it is, but Google every time, because I put all my files in a music folder. I don't know. Do you have Gmail?
Yeah.
I don't know why it keeps doing this to me, but I click on the little tab and I go to music, click on the song because I'm at the gym, I'm in the car. I want to relive this song because we don't have it out yet. So I'm going to these files. It just kicks me off. It'll go right on, and I actually have to log on from the web browser and not the app. I don't know if it's something with the app, but yeah, I don't know. I've been having that. It's frustrating.
I have Gmail, but I don't like use a lot. I don't think I use it for like listening to audio files or anything. So I can't help you with that little predicament.
It sucks because I'm like, I want to listen to this.
Do you see yourself doing any music stuff that's not just going to be like studio focused, or is it just kind of like easier right now with the business to do that sort of stuff?
I think for the most part, when I was in that Failsafe, we were going to do a show maybe once every few months, which is great for, you know how it is. I mean, I remember playing it a little. Remember Keynote Cafe?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, we played there like 4,000 times. But you had that opportunity because you're 19, 20 years old, and you could just keep, it'd be like snowing in December, and you're like, let's go play in front of 2 people, like so.
The thing that I've found is this: as you get older, unless you're playing music that is for a younger demographic, which is not what I'm doing. I mean, it doesn't mean people that are younger might like it, but I'm just kind of still doing the same shit that I've always been doing, just
Right.
an evolved version of it, right?
Right.
But the people that like my stuff, it's kind of like we'll say my friend base and my fan base is aged with me.
Mm-hmm.
So as we get older, a lot of people that I'm friends with, they have other things going on too. They have their jobs, families,
Right.
school, etc.
Right.
Going out to them is no longer like let's go to a place like the Keynote Cafe or like a Mr. Roboto project here in Pittsburgh. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
for the people that are my age range in our 30s, if they're going out, it's like they don't want to go to places like that.
Right.
And it makes playing shows a little bit harder for us because we're not in this opportunity where it's like, oh, we can always be playing at the fucking Rex Theater or somewhere else, you
Mr.
know?
Small, Stage
you
88.
can't always fucking do it. We get to every
Right.
once in a while,
Right.
but it's like the amount that we want to play versus the amount that we can actually realistically play in venues where people will come.
Yeah.
It's like, it's so skewed. And it's like one of these things where, like, 5 years ago, I didn't have to think about this. And now it's like, now I'm always thinking about it. It's like, I never thought about when we were accepting to play a show, like, oh, are people actually going to want to go to this place? I never even thought about it. But now it's like, I don't think anybody that I know is going to even want to go to Roboto. As much as like, I think the spot's great and I think it's awesome for like the youth and stuff like that. But if like my fucking metal band plays there, nobody that sees us is going to want to go there because the people that come see us also want to be able to like get a bunch of beers and go somewhere and get food. And like, you can't drink in Roboto.
No.
And the only thing to eat around there is like pizza, and pizza's good, but like, it's not like a night out for adults.
Yeah.
So it makes it really fucking tricky.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard. It's really, really hard. I mean, that's why just, being a business owner and stuff like that right now, these are perfect because obviously Jake has got his, he's got his main gig, and this is just like a little side project that he wanted. He felt like he was like, I'm going stale. He's like, I need to have something else. And, he's been in metal stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he brought it to my attention, and I was like, I don't know. I was kind of like taken back a little bit that he wanted my vocals, and I'm just excited to push myself out there because not a lot of people know who I am, and they're like, I didn't know this dude screamed. I don't even know who this guy is, and I'm confident in my stuff. So I'm excited for the Failsafe project, that EP to drop, and then this fall winter we will be doing the Boa project. So probably like I'd say sometime spring maybe. Boa, the EP will be out for Boa too, so it's exciting. But
maybe we'll get all of you fucking guys back in here. We'll chat about it.
I actually, I was telling him last night I was gonna have him come on today, and he was like, "Just ask him." He's like, "If it's okay, I will." But he's like, "I don't want to step on your toes." And I thought it would have been cool, but he looked at me before he left last night, and he was like, I'm pretty drunk. He's like, I'm gonna need all day to recover. And I was like, it's all good.
No,
dude.
I'm glad that me and you got a chance just to chat about the barbershop and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and then fucking down the road, whenever you guys are ready, we'll get both of you. We'll get all you on. That'd be awesome.
Right. And maybe actually we might play, event, like maybe we'll play a show, and maybe we'll play a show with you.
That would be cool.
I think it would be really cool.
Yeah.
It's exciting, as you know. I'm still, dude, I'll catch myself listening to the oldest emo shit. It's like I'll put on MCR, and I know I'm a sucker for that stuff. Like I'll put on Armor for Sleep.
Sure.
Like that stuff is never gonna leave me.
No, it's the stuff that you grew up with.
Right.
It's like fucking, it's so funny to think this, but like you figure the generations before us that, never stopped listening to Crosby, Stills and Nash or, Led Zeppelin or whatever.
Right.
Like, in 20 years, there's going to be a bunch of fucking 50-year-olds that are still like, Armor for Sleep, Thrice,
Yes. Yes.
Silverstein.
Yeah,
Like that's gonna be the shit that they like.
Yes. Yes.
It's really, and they're gonna be covered in tattoos. This is so fucking funny, but
it's just our
it
generation.
makes sense. Like it's just our generation. It's so funny, like just like that discussion of like how rock music has changed, and all these little phases of music that only existed for like these like 5-year periods. It's like rock music in general is still so young. Like it's like rock and roll isn't even 100 years old yet.
No.
And you think about the trajectory of life, and we're all supposed to know like what rock and roll is, and we can say like, oh, that's not rock music. This, and it's
right.
like, we've been on this planet for thousands of years, and rock music has existed for like 60, maybe.
Yeah.
It's like nobody knows what it is. It's gonna always evolve. It's
right. It always is. I mean,
and granted, I don't think Imagine Dragons is what we need to be aspiring to in that realm of rock music personally, but it'll go somewhere good.
I only know one of their songs, and I guess they went downhill from that one, right?
I don't know. They're just they're like the band. They're like the go-to band for me when I can think about everything that's wrong with not only rock music but pop music. I just think they're incredibly boring songwriters.
Yeah. I like I said, I only know that one song because I'm a Pittsburgh Penguin fan, and they would always play that song. So like that's the only reason I know that song. But yeah, man, I still think the music is always going to be in you, and it's something that will never go away. Like I have a hard time actually finding. I have a friend that always is updated on new artists, and I'm like, dude, it's like you said, searching on the internet, being on it. I'm like, I have these main core of bands that I still go with, and then like it's like you're like, who is this band? It's hard to keep up. And kudos to those bands because they're out there hustling, doing their thing. But I still stick to my guns, and it's same old. So yeah, I mean, Silverstein, favorite.
The way I find out about bands is like the way I find out about beers. Nowadays, going back to that, like I don't seek out a whole lot of stuff anymore. But if something comes across my plate in one way or another, I'm always happy to check it out or give it a taste.
Right. Yeah. I completely agree. Yeah, man, it's going to be fun. Excited. Hope, like I said, I hope we can all get on here one day. Us, all
definitely open invitation.
Sweet.
You just let me know when you want to come on, and we'll make it happen.
Sweet, man.
Totally. So for anybody out there who may still be watching and or listening as we are wrapping up, we've hit our hour. Why don't you let people know where they can find Dark Root Barbershop on the internet?
All right. On the internet is darkrootpgh.com. And we are located 815 East Warrenton Ave, Allentown.
Awesome. And they're also on Instagram, probably have a Facebook page, all this thing, all that stuff. Look them up. If you need to get a haircut, I don't have any hair. I do have a beard. Maybe I'll let this fucker grow out, and then you can come do something nice with it.
Sick.
Because I'm always just like, it gets to a certain part, and then I'm like, well, I grab the 2 out of the thing, just fucking buzz my whole face evenly, and then that's fucking it. I'm pretty lazy.
Quick question.
Yeah.
What's the longest you've ever grown your beard? Like, did you keep track, like, ever?
So the longest my beard has ever gotten was probably like down to here.
Okay.
Whenever Grey Walker recorded our last album, the day that we started recording it, I stopped shaving it, and I didn't shave until I was going to shave it after our release show.
Okay.
So it took us about a little over a year. So I went for like a year without shaving it.
That's sick.
And then I still didn't shave it for probably like another 4 or 5 months after that.
Wow.
It got pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
It was long. And it was funny actually going back to the first thing that made me realize the first thing that happened that made me realize that I needed to shave the beard was actually at Hershey Park.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So we were on, I can't remember the roller coaster right now, but it's one of the more intense roller coasters at Hershey Park.
Yeah.
And at the end of the ride, like my beard was like all like split and like crazy just from like being on the ride. Like it was like completely, it wasn't like inconvenient, you know, all I had to do was just kind of put it back. But I was just like, I think this thing's getting too long. Cause like we were on rides and I could like feel it like, it was just like swaying in the breeze with the ride. And I was like, this is getting a little absurd.
Yeah. Like almost like the bearded guy on the t-shirt I gave you. Just like all just like going crazy with the, yeah. It was oh, excuse me. It was a little intense. So yeah. So I did shave it, and I think that I was happy about it. It was fun to have it, but it was just a little much. Yeah. I always say that there's beards are supposed to be like low maintenance. There becomes a point where I actually grew mine out last year for almost over a year. And there becomes a point where everything gets in your mustache. I found that oatmeal hates my mustache. It'd just be like all in it. I'm walking around, nobody tells me.
Oh yeah, I'm like eating. Like there's a cafe down the street from my house, the Pear and the Pickle. Shout outs to them. We'll use that noise again. Sure, why not?
I love that one.
And I go there every morning and I get an egg sandwich before I head to work.
Okay.
And it got to a point where like I was just smelling egg all day just because it was in, you know, like
right.
It's like in like I could wash my face as much as I want to, but if I eat anything, that's like the first thing that I eat that day.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm just smelling it forever.
All day. Yeah, that's the thing.
And like that is gross. If you really think about it.
Eggs all day? Yeah.
Ew.
Ew. Yeah, right. I take it I probably shouldn't make my next beard oil be egg smell, right? No. No,
I wouldn't go with egg.
All right. Well, yeah, I mean, even with that, like I think, you know, just the maintenance, like back to what I was saying, you're supposed to have a beard because you don't want to shave all the time because that gets to be a hassle. But then when your beard gets too long, it's like, all right, this is a lot of maintenance. You know, like you said, your beard was out to here. You're getting off the ride worrying about, you know.
I wasn't worried about it. I just thought it was just hysterical just because it was like such a mess.
Right.
And I was like, I haven't had this sensation in a long time. It's like you said, like low maintenance. I'm so used to just like get up and go.
Right.
But I was like, this is a fucking catastrophe. And now it's like anytime I see somebody that has like a really extravagant beard or a mustache, I'm like, all the power to you, but like I hope your ego is okay. Because it's like it's so much effort.
Oh, dude.
It's so much effort.
It looks cool. You look like a hard ass,
but it's so much effort. But if that's how you want to spend your time, that's cool.
Do it.
You know, we're all adults. We can all do what we want to do. You know what I mean? Some of us, you know, talk to each other and upload it on the internet. Some people stare in a mirror, getting their mustache just right. Whatever fucking works for you.
Right.
You know, you've been on this planet long enough. You've earned the right to spend your time however the fuck you want.
You do you, right?
Exactly. So with that being said, gonna do my outro, and that's all, folks. Thanks so much for listening. Ricky, one more time, one more cheers. I know you're empty.
This is good beer.
I apologize.
Thank you.
Shout outs to Penn Brewery. They're the fucking homies downstairs. I'll be back again in a few days with another episode. Same time, same place, same channel. You know the drill. My name is Sykes. Start the Beat 2019. Woo woo! Thanks for listening. We'll fade this fucking music out, and that's it.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, dude. I really appreciate it. That was tight.